What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Wednesday, June 21st. In today's video, we're going to talk about why Bitcoin just hit its 30,000 price point. You heard me right. Not too long ago, we were seeing Bitcoin at around 26,000. But not only Bitcoin has been pumping, but the whole cryptocurrency market has been pumping. We're going to be talking about what has happened over the past week or two, why Bitcoin has jumped up almost $4,000. Is this the beginning of a bull run? And also at the end of the video, we're going to be talking about maybe possibly why Bitcoin could hit $49,000. Now, with that said, make sure to watch this video throughout its entirety. Stick around to the very end to hear my conclusion and statement. And everything in this video is not financial advice. This is just my own opinion. It is just for educational purposes only. So with that said, keep this in mind. Be sure to like that button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join our Patreon page. And most importantly, please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email, so please be careful and invest safely. So guys and girls, let's dive deep into why Bitcoin has hit $30,000. So right now, if we look at the overall chart around Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin compared to the US dollar, we can see a huge green candle right here. We bounced off the support level, like I said before, around $26,000. Now it's bouncing off of the resistance level, most importantly at around 30,000. Now, if we break past this resistance level, then we can see prices all the way up to around 40,000 to even 42,000, because that is the expected resistance level. And then after that, we break that, we're going to reach around 47,000 and maybe even more than that. So let's talk about why Bitcoin has experienced a lot of FUD over the past couple weeks, because we do know that the SEC, or the Security Exchange Commission here in the United States, had filed lawsuits and was suing major exchanges. That's not just Coinbase or Binance. We're talking about Kraken. We're talking about Gemini. These are crypto exchanges also based in the US. So when we saw that the Security Exchange Commission was committing a whole bunch of lawsuits with these exchanges without providing any regulatory clarity, then it made people really fishy around this. And what's really interesting is that when this was happening, cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, was not dipping. Usually when you see stories like this, you would see a huge fallout in the price, meaning people were falling for the FUD and people were selling their assets because they're afraid they're going to lose more money. But that didn't happen. In fact, it sustained a support level between $25,000 to $26,000. Now, we even have words from one of the founders of Gemini, the crypto exchange. Now, this is one of the Winklevoss brothers. His name is Tyler. He accuses the SEC and also their chairman, Gary Gensler, of trying to shove quote unquote crypto into TradeFi pipes. Predicts it's not going to work. Basically, what they're trying to say is that the SEC, in their point of view, has just been trying to push crypto exchanges offshore. Maybe because the SEC, based on my own opinion, is trying to support the banks. They say that they're trying to support investors, protect investors, but really they're basing all this data on what they call the Howey test, which was created in the 1940s. Using something old like that to determine the digital era of cryptocurrency and Web3 blockchain worlds is not actually going to work. So really, we're seeing it clear as day that they're really trying to push it out of the US so that banks can possibly run the system, because when you take money out of the customer's hands and you provide customers their own self-custody, banks don't like that. So what happened after all of this, after the SEC tried to even attack Binance, say for instance? Well, when you look at over here at this report just a couple days ago, a judge signed off that the Binance US, which is based in the US, is separate from Binance overseas, that basically the SEC was trying to freeze assets on Binance US, but instead the judge decided to sign off saying, no, actually, the customer funds will be held here onshore in lieu of the restraining order. So the SEC was trying to spread a lot of fear within its investors, not really protecting investors at all. In fact, trying to mitigate and also put investors' money at risk. I mean, why aren't they focusing on the FTX scandal? Why aren't they focusing on Sam Bankman-Fried and protecting those customers? That's the multi-billions of dollars. But in fact, this is a great sign for people in the US, for cryptocurrency and Binance US users. The SEC is trying to stop cryptocurrency from developing here in the US, but judges are signing off saying, no, we want to welcome this. But what other news? So Warren Davidson, who is a congressman, decided, you know what, because the SEC, because Gary Gensler is attacking cryptocurrency, they are filing a stabilization act to restructure the SEC and Gary Gensler, to basically fire Gary from his role as the chair, but also to update the SEC on what's happening in this digital era, which is absolutely amazing. You're seeing Congress fight on behalf of the consumers, of the investors. That's what we want to see. And also in other news, we started seeing BlackRock, a $9 trillion asset manager, filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF. That is so crazy. This happened shortly after the SEC was attacking cryptocurrency and especially crypto exchanges. And not only that, we started seeing what their old dialogue was going on, saying that basically Bitcoin is an index of money laundering, and that was back in 2017. Fast forward later in 2023, they're filing for this ETF, but not only that, they're filing it as a crypto custodian with Coinbase, and Coinbase is one of the people being sued by the SEC. This is really fishy, but also really great for the cryptocurrency market. It doesn't just stop there. We also have a $1.5 trillion asset manager called Invesco, who's also filing a spot Bitcoin ETF. And this is something that they're resuming because the SEC denied them originally. And then another company, an $87 billion asset manager, WisdomTree, also files for a spot Bitcoin ETF. I think you're seeing the narrative here. People are filing for more Bitcoin ETFs after this lawsuit. And let's talk about Citadel, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab, major exchanges within NASDAQ and all these other stock exchanges, right? They are launching a new crypto exchange platform called the EDX Markets. Again, this happened after the SEC filed a lawsuit against these exchanges. And I think with all this pressure on the SEC approving a Bitcoin ETF, if the SEC were to decline, which they could possibly do, if they were to decline any of these ETFs from these major asset managers, then you can imagine that there's definitely going to be a lawsuit against the SEC. The SEC is being pigeonholed into a corner, and eventually they're going to break. And let's talk about overseas. We have a Germany company, $1.4 trillion in asset managers by Deutsche Bank, who is applying for regulatory license to operate a crypto custodial service. That's overseas. And just today in the US, we have Jerome Powell, who's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, answering questions around cryptocurrency here in the US. And he says and believes that crypto appears to have some staying power as an asset class. I'm going to let this clip play real quick so you can see his own words for yourself.
Crypto and digital assets in the US has got a market cap of around $1.1 trillion right now. It's been there for a bit. Do you acknowledge that this asset class has staying power in the US economy?
It appears to have some staying power. Of course, that 2.1 trillion was, what was that a year ago? A lot higher.
Yeah, it's had some volatility in large measure due to the lack of legal clarity. And so hopefully this committee will help that quite a lot here this summer with at least two bills, one on stable coins and one on market structure. And it'll be clear not just for Congress, but for regulators, including Chairman Gensler.
And not only that, when asked about stablecoins, he responded, we do see payment stablecoins as a form of money. This is crazy. This is happening right now as we speak. And also in other news, with him sharing other input, he said it would be a mistake to leave the Fed with a weak role on stablecoins. But what is his stance on CBDCs, which is central bank digital currencies? Well, this is his thoughts. He said, in quote, "It's not something we support. And if we did have one, it would be intermediated by banks." Interesting how that works. Now, CZ has reported this because the US House Committee is to vote on crypto and stablecoin legislation in July. So let's see how this goes. But this was shared by the founder of Binance. But Lark Davis, who's also another YouTube influencer, said that this could be big for crypto. Is it good or bad for crypto is a question. Because what if the House Committee doesn't pass it? What will happen then? But regardless, we're seeing Congress finally step up to the plate, while foreign countries such as Singapore, Dubai, the UK, everywhere else already stepped way forward past this. So really the US is catching up on all this crypto play. And we gotta talk about why Bitcoin could be reaching around a certain price point. Now in other news, we're seeing Plan B, who's a huge influencer within Bitcoin, says that this is the last chance to buy Bitcoin below 30,000. Is this correct? Or are we going to bounce off 30,000 and take another dip and maybe see another price point around 28,000, right? Are we going to consolidate sideways for a little bit? But what's other news? What other price points could we see? Well, Forrest, who is a Ute NFT holder of a one-on-one NFT, he predicts that Bitcoin could hit 49,000 based on his charts. So is that the case? Could we see Bitcoin hit 49,000? Possibly because he's seeing it right there. Now, the last words of wisdom I want to share with you is back with the Winklevoss twin. And this is from Cameron, not Tyler. He says, the great accumulation of Bitcoin has begun. Anyone watching this flurry of ETFs filing understands the window to purchase pre-IPO Bitcoin before ETFs go live and open the floodgates is closing fast. If Bitcoin was the most obvious and best investment of the previous decade, this will likely be the most obvious and best trade of this decade. Now, this is coming from Cameron himself. Now, as a conclusion, can we see Bitcoin hit 49,000? Are we going to experience some euphoria, FOMO? Are we going to experience a huge bull run? This is my personal opinion, again, not financial advice. Any Bitcoin below 60,000, in my personal opinion, is a personal steal because we saw Bitcoin hit almost 60,000 in its recent bull run, right? The last bull run back in 2021. Now we're in 2023, 2 years later. So could we experience that again? Well, in my eyes, I definitely think that anything around that price point, anything below, is obviously a great deal because, again, we're seeing the next halving of Bitcoin happen in 2024. That's right, that's happening next year. Another halving of Bitcoin. That means there's just going to be less of a supply of Bitcoin. So if you have one Bitcoin, then you're in a great position. But right now, for $30,000 per Bitcoin, and there's only a small supply, only 21 million of Bitcoin out there in the world. This is obviously the go-to asset, I think, especially given the fact that we're going into a digital era, that gold is no longer the monetary safe asset, that really this could be the next new thing, and there's only a smaller and smaller supply there. But it's not just Bitcoin. Think about the other cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP. So many of these other assets need to be evaluated, but right now we're focusing on Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, other cryptocurrencies follow. We don't know what's going to happen with the other cryptocurrencies because they're either L2s, L1s. To send money across country without borders, it's supposed to be borderless payment. So what could happen? I don't exactly know. This is why this video is just to share with you what's going on in the world, why Bitcoin is possibly pumping today, up 15% over the past 7 days. So let me know your thoughts down below. What you think around Bitcoin's price point. Will it hit 49,000? Are we going to see some retracement? Well, I want to see that in the comments down below on both YouTube and Twitter. So with that said, if you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe to this channel, like that button. Don't forget to join our Patreon page to receive all of our alpha calls and buy and sell orders on both NFTs and cryptocurrencies and get all the news around Bitcoin. And with that said, we'll see you guys and girls next time.